Okay, we are live. Hopefully my audio is okay. Looks like the level's a little low. So I'm gonna crank it up a bit. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. So I'm gonna stay just under that yellow bar in OBS. Should be good. All right, I got a notification from YouTube. Looks like we're on our way. It's been a while since I did a stream. We had a workshop on Saturday, so that that took up some time to prepare for, etc. It was really successful. I had a bunch of things discussed on the advanced level, so it was meant to be more of an intro, but it went really well in terms of addressing people's concerns. So we're definitely going to have a couple of options for the next one. In reality, probably not until January, until I get enough people asking for one this year still. Maybe we might want to do that just if people don't have their budgets spent for educational stuff at their companies for 2024. So I'm thinking we may do that to get people the training they need this year. So hopefully that comes up, but today we're going to continue on with some slices. I think a lot of people are really discussing automation and the representation of information flow versus the actual implementation of PubSub and other things that you do automatically in your information systems. So we'll get into that code today. I'm going to try and do an hour a day or something similar to that. It's just been a little bit too sporadic, but I'm quite happy with my setup now. I do have better lighting in here finally, which was a problem with the green screen before. A dark green doesn't make a good chroma key, and so with the proper lighting, the green is green, and so yeah, quite happy with that now. It's nice and bright too. It makes you feel awake. So if I'm sleepy and I sit down in front of this thing, it feels like it's summer and I'm outside at noon. So that's really good. And yeah, we're live on Discord. I'm gonna just see if I can get the comments going here, because I think Restream was not oh yeah, it's kind of logged itself out, so I gotta log back in to Restream here. I'm quite happy with Restream for being able to do this on LinkedIn and other things, other platforms. So on X, YouTube, Twitch, and what's the other one that I'm on? Anyway, a third one. Yeah, YouTube and LinkedIn are the main ones. Then there's X and I forget the last one that I'm on. Anyway, that's what happens when you get old, you get forgetful. All right, let me log in so we can see what. Okay, there's my password manager. Let's get on to Restream. Oh, I think it's just my Google account, I think, for that. That's easier. Okay. See if we got that. All right, yeah, we got some. So yeah, I have a live stream channel in our Discord for if you want to ask me a question about anything on topic today, such as automation. I know there's been a few people talking about their propensity of not wanting to use a to-do list for their system because they're you know, they're using a reactive framework and they just see an event, they react to an event. And so I think I've been really pushing against these event-driven architectures, kind of grabbing the word event and making it, you know, really general purpose for two things: event sourcing and then public-facing events that communicate between services. I'd rather rename one of them. Honestly, I think the fact that we have EDA and we have event sourcing, sharing this name is causing a lot of issues. So I would say that I would definitely have um, a better definition of these two things. I think we had around the days of enterprise stuff, message passing was quite easy. So I think messages I would reserve. I think events and facts are good. I think event sourcing is good. I'm not sure if fact sourcing or something else, or ledger. Ledger doesn't have the right ring to it because ledger has computed values of balance in there. So ledger is not good. Um, facts are, I don't know, but interesting topic. But I personally, I would love to see EDA kind of go away, so that we could have um, the word event not spread to so many different topics, and it's causing issues. So yeah, back to my main point, having the word um, event, like the phrase event driven, generally means you're gluing services together, and the information that happens in one service is published as an event. Say something happened, I have a bunch of other services that can react to it. They're not used as a source of truth. They're used as an information path, which is totally different than event sourcing. Event sourcing is where the event is an entry on ever-growing array of things that have happened, and you always derive state at the core from looking at what happened. Pardon me, I'm a little bit under the weather today, so it seems my voice is a little bit different, but hopefully it's allergies and nothing more serious. Or a small flu or cold. So I think, yeah, the stream's there. So, oh, I know the third place where we're streaming. Oh, actually, I don't know. I forgot where we're streaming. Oh yeah, we have four. Yeah, so Twitch is the one I'm forgetting. Twitch is the main one. So let's jump into some of this programming stuff so we can look at our implementation, kind of where we stopped at. Let me turn off my notifications, and we can, yeah, last time I streamed, I had some fun with AI. So Cursor continues to be pretty good for getting stuff done. So let me just adjust again. I don't know why OBS keeps changing the parameter size parameters for the camera. Every time I relaunch OBS, I'm getting a different size for what I'm using for my camera image. So anyway, I've also started to use OBS virtual camera for meetings. I think beside the point of a lot of streaming services having low resolution for people's faces, I get to choose the background I want instead of screen sharing. But I think I found on Zoom that this doesn't work too well. Maybe a few others, unless you have something explicitly giving you control saying that, hey, use this camera for high definition. And then if someone double clicks on your face on the other side, they'll have something where you can actually read the code you're trying to present. So yeah, let me just adjust this more. Pardon me for this little delay, but I think we're almost ready to switch to the code view. Again, Discord has the chat, so jump in eventmodeling.org under resources, where, yeah, you can join there. I'm going to switch screens now so you can see the little banner. What is going on here? Hey, Eurydice is here again. I don't know what happened to my chat. It now has a different color, but that's fine. I had it going with let me just see. I can't really see the chat. That's another thing that OBS has screwed up, is my image capture for the chat. I did have I use the style plugin for Chrome to inject some CSS, and I made the Restream chat a green background so I could use chroma key on it. So we'll see if that works. I think it's working. Volume is low. Thanks, Yurtis. I'll check that right now. Let's see here. So volume, I'll turn this on to max. How's that? Should be better now. Thanks, Eurydice. I wasn't sure if I could just crank the setting on OBS to full, but I guess I have my gain controlled on the OS, and that's where I'm limiting it more. All right, let's. I'm not going to bother with fixing the chat right now, although that could be kind of fun just to show the style editor for Restream. Looking forward. Hi, Martin. Yes, let's do some automations. I remember Martin told me we had a good chat on Sunday on our podcast. And yeah, people are really wanting to see some examples of automations. There's definitely been people wanting to use event modeling for showing how the automation, like the implementation details of automation, and really that is not the purpose of event modeling. Event modeling is supposed to show you the information flow, so people kind of have really good a really good idea of what done is when they're actually doing the implementation. So it's not a replacement for UML. It does have some common things with UML. Maybe something that's very similar to it would be a sequence diagram on its side with no branching and no intermediate objects, so that you only look at state and the UI or API layer. That's, I think, as far as the similarity grows. I still need to write a write-up on that for my book, and maybe include it in Martin's book as well, about the similarities and differences between UML and event modeling, and what to use one for and what to use the other for. So they're fully compatible. I mean, I can certainly see a complex state view needing maybe some sort of a sequence diagram or an activity diagram or a state machine or some other thing to be elaborated, maybe, if it's not trivial. You know, or maybe on the higher end where event model is the detail, but you might have a component diagram from UML showing you the overall architecture, but when you're in one of those things, you're really dealing with an event model. Anyway, that fully compatible, just they have different purposes. So it looks like, yeah, so Martin's on Twitch, which is good, but I think our central communication point should always be the Discord for event modeling, and there's a live stream channel on Discord where you can participate in these things. So I think I got my stuff kind of done, except for the background here for the chat. I think I was playing around with it, and if the chat is empty, the background is wrong. So anyway, let me flip to the other side so you can see what I'm talking about here. So transition. So you can see the two people chatting in the top right. Hopefully it's legible. I might bump up the font just in case people are reading on their phones. Let's try that. Control plus. Control plus. Okay, so that yeah, there we go. So it's a slightly bigger chat. Maybe a little too big. Okay. Probably need to. Yeah, I'm in studio mode, so I can't really edit the current scene. Maybe I should get out of the studio mode. Whatever. Okay, that's good enough. You can see it. I can fix this up another day. I didn't realize that I changed the style to ignore the overall background and not include. I'll only include the background of the individual messages. So, let's see. Where do we leave off? Let's look at our layers here because I've turned them off for some demonstrations, and we certainly can show code if we want. We can show the communication, such as a bug that's up here. Turn that off. Okay. So I'm using Draw.io here, just because it's easier to store these along with the repositories. I don't have to log into some other third-party service. This is a Draw.io plugin for Visual Studio Code, or Cursor in this case. Cursor is a fork of Visual Studio Code. Here we have our tracking. Oh, I found a mistake. Notice those extra screens here. They're not supposed to be at this layer, so layering is kind of important. So if I turn progress off and on, notice that something's got put into the wrong thing. I'm going to have to fix that up and put those into the right places. So I can just take these things and cut them, Control X, and then go to this one, show it, and Control V, put them at that layer. So now if I show progress, I only have those issues now. So again, I'll show that, and I will highlight these and cut them. I'll now show this and make sure I am on this layer, press Control V, and just zoom in that it put it in the right place. I think it moves it a little bit. If I press Shift up and Shift left, it should go to its original alignment. Maybe not. See that? I think it was okay. But now I think we have, yeah, the progress is written down here, and the event model shows and disappears accordingly. Okay, good. So for those new to event modeling, this is how we run all projects. Everything is in here that we need. I'll show the progress. The last stream I was explaining branch by feature and how they work with slices. So here what we had, I think it's all the way on the right. Yeah, so just to recap from last time, if people want to see how we deal with pushing things to production, doing continuous integration, deploying when things are finished, and then labeling what's done. We can also, I guess I need a round 2 here where I can show where the hotfixes go. They go off of the last thing you released. So if there was any hotfixes that happened during the time of developing this version 1.6, that was here. So just a quick recap. But what Martin was saying, we need to show this automation step. So I have something here. Again, our test application is a Open Spaces application. So Open Spaces Conference is one where participants suggest topics. So we need kind of a little system that people can use their phones for to suggest things, vote for things, and then organizers to make a schedule. So the schedule creation is done here somewhere. Some of this event model is not finished, and that's okay. Event modeling works with your quote-unquote agile mindset of business not being ready with all the requirements. That's fine. At least we get units of work of what we're doing, such as these things here. So this is our information flow. What screens do people see? What information is presented? Basically a walk through the system. Some of the nitty-gritty details that we have are in here, such as, well, how many different ways can this list of rooms appear? And our test cases are all here. It's done in a style of specification by example, meaning as we move through time, we have more and more history being added, and then each individual test case is an increasing amount of previous history and an assertion that the state view shows what we expect. Likewise, for changing things, such as adding something to the system, we have, again, a growing set of events that gives us our scenario setup, and then we test, and then we assert that we get the one we want, and so on. And in this case, it's a sparse array of what we test. This is a supporting array that gives us our buildup, which you can easily do in code. We can look how that actually, one of the things I want to do in another stream, because now people want the automation one, but I definitely want to expand our little homemade test framework for event source solutions to kind of walk this or the sparse array and build up the setups here according to this. And then, of course, AI has been amazing on this. People are complaining, oh, AI is not going to replace developers, or yeah, my entire workflow's changed because of AI. One of the last streams, I pasted in this into the chat window in Cursor AI, and it filled in not only all the unit tests, but also the implementation, and it caught an assertion that I didn't think of. So yeah, it's pretty damn good if you give it the right constraints. And yeah, of course, you can then combine those to really make a set of agents that builds an entire system for you. If you specify what you want well enough, I think AI is. I don't think people realize just how different things will be. They're dismissing it because they see a bunch of thrashing of people giving one sentence for give me an online store implementation, and it doesn't match what they imagined, and it hallucinates because you didn't give enough specifications. So you'd get that with anything. Anyway, let's pick a gear here to automate. So over here, let's see. So set sign up URL. So I think we pulled this off as a to-do list implementation. So the idea that we have a cron job generating IDs, maybe in a mature system, we may be integrating with something else that's giving us URLs, and we have to make them into QR codes. But in this case, let's peel off this as our as something that we're going to do. And in here, we're going to have this processor unique identifier generator is going to be comprised of two slices. We always have a processor on the input side having a slice projecting what needs to be done, and on the other side, a slice that's actually doing the work. That's a processor is really a set of output and input subsystems, or if you think of systems thinking, which we always do in this approach, that you always capture things coming into the system as one thing versus a second thing, which is things getting out of the system or changing state. So so let me draw that here. We have the progress. So I'm going to do this in, again, that's not Joe, that's me, but I was making a fictitious person to show concurrent development of two slices and how that works in source control. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste this here. Oops, I pasted it there, but no need to worry. I'll just, you know what, that is very time consuming. Let's drag it over. And so part of this processor is this. And here we go. So first thing we need to do is really understand how this works and what we want from it. And I will change that name to be Adam. And those that code every day, you're going to be able to do this like way faster than me. But for those that are learning, the fact that I'm slow is good. You get to more easily follow along. And I don't see any other questions coming in, so that's good. Let's just walk through what this is intending on doing. So how does this processor work? And first of all, where am I getting all of these extra lines here? Interesting. This doesn't let me go through. So this is, I will take the progress off. Oh, it put it on the event model side. Again, wrong place. Control X. Let's go to this. Will that work? Yes, but it shows it. Okay, good. So even though it's not shown, if I press paste, it'll paste it on the layer that I have selected, and if it's not displayed, it'll display it. Okay, So that should be out of the way now. Let's get rid of these extra arrows. I'm not sure why they're there. I think we just had some issues with connecting things up. These are helper features. I added a third actor or user. I hate to use the actor because, again, we have the actor model now in implementation, so they've also taken that word from us. Yeah, so this user is the system administrator, and they actually want to see, you know, what the queue for, you know, how full is the queue for generating IDs. And you can show that. I recommend doing that for a lot of things because many systems have a lot of automation behind the scenes with really nothing to look at in terms of UI as to what the progress is. And the simple answer to that is create dashboards that show these things. And this is also another reason why you want to-do lists for automations, so that this gives you an opportunity to display these things on dashboards. Here it says he uses the word role. Yeah, I guess role is good. The only problem with an event model and the word role is that we really want to show a user, an example user, and saying that it's a role, we, you know, organizer participant. So, you know, I would rather have, you know, Joe, you know, the organizer or something like that, so that we can, because if you have role and you have, for example, 2 ticket buyers competing for 1 ticket, if you're doing a ticketing system, you need, you know, that role is repeated twice. There's 2 swim lanes for that, and you're gonna have to show, you know, the screen of one person and another person. So yeah, that, I mean, totally fine for having that. I mean, you can give them different hats or something to make it fun, and just use names. And then, of course, I like to make sure that the name is repeated in the actual example data as you go through, either with the emails that are used. I also substitute emails for IDs because they're human readable and business. Oops, I don't want that. There we go. So the participant, you know, what am I doing here? Oh, I see. There's these little magic buttons on this. You have to double click the middle of that so you can edit. Draw was a little bit different than Miro and other drawing tools. So Joe the organizer, and then the participant, we'll have Bob the participant. No, let's see, Bob the participant. Yeah. Don't worry, we're gonna get to the automation part. I just want to do some cleanup. And of course, I'm probably doing this in the wrong part. Let me just double check. Open spaces comes. Okay. Oh yeah, one more thing I didn't tell you, that this does exist. This diagram does exist in the repository, but I do have it on a separate branch, so it doesn't get affected by the work. It's kind of like, imagine having the state of your discussion forum on, oh, where did that go? It's another layer, isn't it? Yeah, it's in progress. I should probably put that on the regular one. Control X, and then put that on the event model. Control V. Right, so we actually have another branch now. So this is a general workflow in Git that works for any solutions, like non-event source solutions, but traditional ones, and it works for ones that don't have an event model in it at all. But I really think it would be a great idea to have these things stored in the same repository, so that when, you know, when you're talking about a whole project, you have everything that you need there for whole context. Imagine people, you know, having issue trackers and comments and discussions on forums. Why is that a separate system than the source code? They go together, right? You made something, you changed the project because someone said something, someone raised an issue, someone solved an issue, whatever. Those things should be in the same set of okay, let's see. So yeah, the commits that would go for, let's choose a different color for this. There's my style here. I don't want it blue. Let's pick an ugly color. We don't have, okay, let's do a dark orange. Like dark orange. There we go. Dark orange. Well, actually, that's kind of gross, isn't it? Not the nicest color. Let's do another. We're really using purple. This one's nice. I like that. Okay. So, and of course, the style's wrong. There we go. So we kind of want to have the progression of the design going off in its own set of, I guess we'll connect it, sure. And of course, they should be pointing backwards, so that's wrong. And this we will have as event model, so we'll copy this. I guess we can call it system design. The system design, what we're saying is that system design should contain your work tracking and everything in there. So, you know, this event model that we're looking at does have the progress of everything and how it goes through. Let's arrange this so it's aligned to that. And then is there a distribution? Do we have a distribution on here? Arrange, size, back. So flip, angle. Oh, okay. Distribute. That's it. Vertical. It's right there. Okay. And now we can. Oh yeah, this is the wrong way as well. I just want to make sure that the style is the default. Every time I have to do that, set a default style. So let's see. We want to delete that, and we want to link that to here. And then that's going this way. That's good. And then this joins up with this. This joins up with this, and this joins up with this. So yeah, so your commit history for your design is independent of how you're developing the system, right? And how you do this, again, this is so that is copy. Sorry, I like the arrows to be the same color. I don't know if anyone remembers the SNL skit of Phil Hartman doing the anal retentive chef. He never actually got to cooking anything because he was just preparing his ingredients too much and disposing of the refuse and the peels. And then the show was over just before he started to actually cook anything. So I kind of feel like that right now. But anyway, so a little blast. If you look at Phil Hartman's best Saturday Night Live roles, you'll see what I mean. It's pretty funny. Yeah, tragic loss when he was murdered, which was not good. I actually did make a mistake with the arrow directions here, but whatever, I'll correct them another time. So yeah, system design goes here. Now, how do you actually see what the heck the current version is if you're constantly switching branches in your project? Well, this is where Git work tree comes in. Well, let me see if let me flip to another screen here. And just see if I have. Yeah, it's all good. All right, so so yeah, I'm glad that Eurydice, you're doing examples as well for your users. And oh yeah, what I wanted to talk about is that if I do ls dot dot. I have it looks like there's two repositories for this. So I have open spaces Como Camp down here, and I'm sorry if the font's a little small. Let me know if it's too small, but I'm gonna maybe bump things up just a tad. People can read things a little bit more once we get into coding. Yeah, that's nice and large for people to understand. So yeah, I have the main repo here, and then I have this repo dash design, and this is get work trees, right? So if I do get work tree, and I do list, it'll show me that I have this in this directory and this in this directory. So instead of checking out different branches, which can thrash your working directory, and especially if you have like an environment like Node set up or whatever, it's really much easier to share the same Git repo locally, but actually jump around with the CD command to different work trees. And one of those, of course, is your design. And you can do this for multiple things. I still change branches when I'm doing integration and merging and all that. But there's definitely cases for maybe you're debugging something in production and before you had to stash your changes and all sorts of other things. Now you can just add one of these directories, still share the same thing. So any pushes and pulls that you'll have from any of these directories will act on the same Git repo underneath. So definitely a good way to do things. So yeah, so if if I'm saving this, if I go cd dot open spaces design, I can see so Git status. I can see that I have a package lock, which I don't really need in here. ls git log. It should really just show me that I've only done. Okay, design is wrong. I have it in the wrong thing. Why am I in the wrong branch? BF design. Git log. All one line to create graph. Let's see what happened here. So we have stash, rooms, design is okay. Yeah, I've actually put stuff into BF design instead of the other thing. So I'm going to have to change that because yeah, what is that? We have rooms SV, we have dev, added. Okay, so add that has. I want to actually see. I want to see decorate, and I want to see the stat. And of course, okay, so similar tests. Okay, so actually we were doing tests on here, so maybe that's, yeah, this is all just event model, draw IO. Actually, yeah, so actually we are good. We've only been changing that one thing. So we can also just do a git diff and then do that to, I guess, what's our first one? Branch per feature QA. It starts on the first one. So yeah, that's all of the other stuff that we would add from the other side. So that's fine. So it's not in here. Good. So we can save this design. Or actually, let's walk through the design. So back to the task at hand. We are on the right branch. And I kind of like these to be on top of everything else. So let's bring these to the top. Make these layers smaller, put them over here, and arrange to front. Huh, interesting. Why is that behind bring to front? Oh, because I'm not on the progress. Okay, so front. Okay, how are these layers? Okay, I see the layer thing must be on top. There we go. Okay, that's what I wanted. The progress I want to be above the event model. And that's what we want. Or do we? You know what, let's have it behind. I don't want these things to actually go in front of the actual event model. You can still see that these are in progress, so I think that's fine. All right. So what are we missing? We're missing some given thens for how these unique ID generators behave. So we can just copy the setups here. So that's a default view here, and let's just copy. So a lot of things in event modeling is copy pasting. So in this case, we are going to have the exact same specification for this side of the processor as this. So we can copy that here, paste here, just move it over so it lines up underneath our slice. And these vertical pieces of the workflow we call slices. And now we can just gut whatever this is. So yeah, we don't need this. We're not looking at rooms, we're looking at this to-do conference IDs to generate. So copy that and then paste that here. There we go, IDs to conference. I don't like that name, it's too long. And realistically, you should be using the same IDs for these things as you would in the eventual code. That makes code generation a lot easier. I think I did pretty much do that here with these names. I don't know why I have this on the side here, but whatever. Let's take a look at conf IDs to generate, and then we have the contents of this. So let's get rid of these extra ones here. Delete. I'm gonna copy this just to keep the size the same. Use shift arrows to keep things kind of on a grid-like manner. I don't want to have to go realign things. And then let's take the first case as being the contents of this and do that. And of course we have that stupid long name, which I'm going to change because and I think I'm just going to have gen conf IDs, just so it's got a single name, and I want that to actually pop up in our implementation. So before we start any work, we design things. Right? Imagine that. So here I can get an idea of what I want the system to look like as I'm going through the workflow, and I want people that I'm building the system for to agree. So I want this to be in a representable format. Just rename this. And if they understand what's going on here, then I am happy to start work. Okay, I don't want to start work without being on the same page as the business, the people that are paying me. Oops. Now what do I do? I hit, oh, I see, Control N or something. Let's see here. Where did I go? Okay. Yeah, I hit some, missed some key, and delete that. Just copy all that and remove the middle. Yeah, depending which drawing tool you're using, you might have some friction, but Miro is pretty fast. Martin uses that, and he's added a bunch of extra event modeling tooling on the side, including code generation and some helpful, also some helpful navigation stuff too. So So just some work stuff here. Gotta check. Um, okay. Yeah, some new projects popping up for us, which is good. Kind of late in the year to be starting, but that's fine. Clients have needs. Yeah, so this would be our first thing. So unique ID requested, and we actually don't have enough things here. So, who is this really that's requesting it? So we have to start to look at, the user. And in this case, it would be Joe. Actually, we don't need okay, this is for the conference, so we don't need that. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm thinking of the reservations, which is another cool part that we'll implement in a bit, which is really looking at, once we create this QR code, how does the conference start with people scanning that and going to the URL, typing in their name and starting to suggest topics to discuss at the conference. So in this case, do we really want anything? The scope of this really is we're always working on one conference. There is not multiple conferences, right? We can add these features later. So really this event is a marker that I want to generate one. And this to-do list is really not the best example of a whole bunch of things that a processor goes through, but it does show some automation. So I think we might have to have a round 2 of this, but I really just want the code to kind of show, what's a simple way to do one of these things. So if we have this, we really just need to have, actually it can be reused for a future one. This is interesting. If we always only schedule one, aside multi-tenancy, if we're running our own instance, we don't have to worry about multi-tenancy. We can actually continue to go back and forth with requesting more and more, and as long as we have conf ID provided to link back to that. This is where we might have, well, the idea would be, this is a good specification thing here. So this edge condition doesn't help us, doesn't add any value to understanding the general workflow, but it is an important specification for, well, how does this play out over multiple times that we run conferences? And we can actually show that here. So let's use this as a guinea pig. And so one of those things might be that we need, for example, a request token or something, or a request ID, and we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 for that, and we'll just copy that over to here. Request ID 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's so we can tie different requests together. Although, do we really need it? We only have one at a time, so as long as we have, yeah, you know what, we don't need it. Honestly, let's keep things as minimal as possible and see where we would add this at a later point and redo this. And of course, when we redo slices, it's a brand new one, so we have to basically have it as an expense of doing something else. This is one of those units of work things we've been discussing, is that these slices are highly replaceable, and you kind of don't want to pay for maintenance of them. You really want to replace them, much like you don't want to be tinkering with a broken alternator. You just go and buy one. Yes, there are exceptions. You can kind of do that. Maybe you can provide a broken alternator to a shop and they might be able to give you a discount because you provided them with some raw materials and they can resell it or whatever. But we're getting into some details here. So here we have something that shows that it's not done by the virtue of the fact that it has a blank for the conference ID. And so here we want to show that, yes, when we have this here, we put in an entry that this gear, this processor, which will be a cron job or something else, maybe we run it in synchronously, will kick this off. So now we copy this and we move this down to here. And in this case, we notice that the next time we have this is here. Conference IDs, registration status. We don't have this to do gen. Okay. Yeah, we don't have this repeated. So how a processor works is that we have the fact that it's done recorded here, and we link that up like so. Why is this damn arrow the wrong color again? I thought I set it as a default of this. Apply, set as default style. Does that not copy the default color? I don't understand. Anyway, strange drawing tools. So here we would have this ID that it created for this, which will obviously embed into our URL, so that why we're getting these unique IDs is so we don't want external people to kind of grief the conference by spamming their own suggestions, and kind of we have a level of trust that the participants at the conference are not going to do that. It's a trusted group, so no one's going to be posting the URL on any social media things for people to abuse, and therefore yeah, we have there we go. So now the difference, before the processor, there's a blank. The processor picks anything with a blank and does the job that it needs, and the resulting event is subscribed to by the same thing. And so notice two source events here that can affect this. We have the request, and then we have the provided event, and the logic in the green box that does this is going to mark this as done. So next time this runs, it's going to skip anything that's already been done. Just like you go shopping, you don't go back to the bread aisle because you already have the bread checked off. Same thing here. So yeah, we have this as something that's done, and of course we have to change the other side. And now we can show that this continues to work for more and more things. So if we have another conference later, we'll copy this, and down here we'll obviously have another entry. Okay. So comma. I'm kind of using JSON-ish kind of syntax here because I don't like the table. Well, at least in Miro, I don't like the table additions, and I don't think I like the one that's in here either. So, to have like a table view inside one of these things. I guess I should have picked a slightly larger size of box for this, but whatever. This gets the idea across. And then, of course, if that happened, copy paste this, and let's see over here. In this case, our spec is going to show that we provided maybe something like 222, 333, 444. That's a good spec. And here, what is on this side? So we don't have these. That's from the previous test case. So the setups for this to-do list are this request. And so we can move that over here. So we have, what is this business? That is very strange. Is there something hiding here behind this one? Why did it create those things? Okay, anyway, mystery to solve another day. Oh, duh, that was our arrow. It got destroyed somehow. Why is that affecting that arrow? That is so weird. Okay. And that's not doing it. Well, what happened there? Oh, I see. It goes green. Oh, that's neat. Okay, so I guess you can drag one of these boxes and it'll split the arrow for you. Well, that's pretty cool. Okay, I didn't know that. Neat. Has some cool features that other things don't have, I guess. Nice. Alignment's pretty cool. Okay. So I'm showing that we don't need to have any IDs for requests. This is still a highly trusted environment, single instance, not multi-tenant, and so we don't need extra IDs to lock things down. It'll still work the same way. And then, of course, we have this as part of our history. And we can put that here. So how do we read this so far? By default, the processor does nothing. There's no entries here to work on. And then once we have this initial request having been done, that's our event in history, then this will react by doing this. And yeah, this is getting annoying. I should get these to be slightly bigger. So let's make some room. Oops. That's a good way to get them all to be. It's weird how these features pop up when you don't want them. Okay, I don't know if I can make all of them bigger by doing this. I can't. Boo, okay. That I could, but I can't. So move this down. Move this up. Yeah, there's definitely some things here that I wish. Just making sure I'm not getting any missing things from work. So I usually get the AI to answer. So I have a Samsung foldable phone. I get the automated AI thing to answer them. And guess what? The spammers just hang up. So it's been really good. And then I actually had a call yesterday from someone I didn't know their number, but I was expecting a call, and the AI picked up, and they did speak that, hey, this is so and so, I want to talk to you. It worked. It was good. So yeah, what is wrong with this? Why is this? What's this extra space that this has around it? Very weird. See how these arrows are, like these dots are here, but on this one they're out here. What gives? What? That is so weird. Why are these slightly different? Huh. Mystery. Okay, let's give ourselves some more room so we can see what's going on. And then also what we can show here is some fault tolerance. So, you know, we can, okay, so we can align these up here. Okay, so that's what happens here. And then of course we want to request another one. In this case, we have a value. And then of course, if we have another one of these here, then this is where the value provided is the different one. I'm assuming these will be like UUIDs or whatever, right? So it'll be different each time. And that's what we have. Okay, so that takes care of kind of how we expect things to go. But let's just say someone makes a mistake. And they, for the third conference, they request this twice. Maybe they didn't know whether they requested this new ID again. And so in this case, what we're going to show is how this to-do list reacts. And it could be, so there's two things that we can show. We can show two of these things, two of these requests coming in right after, one after the other, like so. And we want to show that this is idempotent for multiple requests. And what does that fancy word mean? Well, it means that it doesn't care that you requested it twice. It'll generate whatever it needs, and it'll mark another conf ID provided here. So what we're doing here is we're actually specifying our expected behavior out of the system. without mucking up the whole workflow here that really explains what the system's doing, and we really don't want to be going down these rabbit holes up here. But for the developers and to answer the questions, the critical questions that will make sure that this works properly, we answer them here. And it's really nice to be able to do it in a timeline. And so for those that want to see the code, yes, it's coming, but I kind of want to know what I'm building first. And so this is why we have event modeling. So we can do that and not second guess ourselves and have to go through a bunch of code churn, wait for a ton of feedback, and who knows if the feedback's accurate. There's been a lot of valid criticism to the level of feedback you get from your feedback loops from end users. Oops, I didn't copy. Control Z. Control copy. Paste. All right. So here, as before, we get blank. And I think we can just get rid of these extra silly. We understand what's going on here. We don't need the extra brackets to use up valuable space. And yeah, it's blank here, so that's good. Let me clean these other ones up just so it's consistent. I generally do have those in there, especially if the read model has non-collection items within the same model. Obviously, you want to use those things. I mean, I guess we could just put them on the same line. I'm guessing if we really want to be complete and just save ourselves some space, we can do it that way. Maybe that's a better way, because we're really just complaining about the real estate here. So let's do that, and that, and that, and that. Yeah, I like coming up with good conventions, right? That show things in a nice manner so that we have good expectation of future work. Conventions really save us a lot of headaches. All right, so that's fine. Leave those up there. This is where we needed the extra room. So now we have this extra thing, and so this is the critical question. The difference in different implementations may be that I might, if I have it implemented one way, coming up with another one to add another value here, and maybe that's valid. Maybe this is something that we want, but we're making a business decision here that we don't want that. We actually want this to respond in an idempotent way, which means we ignore the extra request. And so this specification shows this here. And then when this eventually does run, then we do get an ID. Now, here's the thing where someone might press the button to request a new ID, and maybe they have some problems with the browser, or they pressed back or something. We get a generated ID, and we still, well, let's do that as the next case. And okay, so the other thing that we can do here, let's just hold on a minute, because there is something that we can do here, and communication is key. And sometimes when you have your user stories, etc., we can label them here. So one of the things that's kind of that's an opportunity that we can make use of here is we can start to talk about giving this a bit of a label of actually what we're testing as we go through this history. And let me get this other shapes thing. Do we have a text one? Yeah, there's text. Okay. So text, I think I can just double click on the page as well. I forget. Anyway, so come on. Okay, so here what we want to say is default or happy path copy path at this point, and let's just align it with this. That's our history. Copy, paste. Let's go down here, and over here we can, you know what, actually, I don't want this like that because I do want a background fill, and I want it to be, I want it to be, do I have a transparent one? No, I have just shades. I think opacity is a different one. So maybe the color I want is, well, I guess we're using a lot of green. Like we want to do, I think we're using, okay, we're using blue for labels. So let's use blue again for labels. Cancel, let's just copy what we have up here. So we name these things this way. And so here we have the text color. I'm just going to copy this. It's really sad that this doesn't by default bring into the recently used stuff the colors you're already using in your diagram. I don't know why they don't have this as a feature. I guess I'll have to make a pull request for Draw.io plugin to have, you know, the colors that you're already using to pre-populate this. This just ends up keeping track of, you know, what colors you used this session. So if I close this down and open up again, this will all be blank, which is kind of crappy. Anyway, opportunity for everything to improve. I'm not complaining too much. It's good. At least it lets me store things locally. Where are we here? Okay, we're working on this. So here we go. Let's make this color what we had before here. Apply. And we want the background. We fill, we want something else. Which fill do we want? That, oh, can't even read that on there. Bad choice. I guess we want black. Fine. The only reason, okay, why I'm being so pedantic about this is because I wanted to kind of overarch, like go over this, but you know what, whatever. I think we just have this here. The reason I'm worried about it is that I want to actually still try copy pasting the image of this portion here into the Cursor AI and see that it does generate some of the code that we expect. And I think these explanations along the way, what's happening is actually going to drive much better automation. Much better generation of stuff by AI, because we're kind of talking about what's going on. We can say the second request just second request is handled as one with no issues, or what do we say? Second request second request behaves the same way. So we can do that. I don't know. Now I don't like this arrow being here. Maybe convention would be to have it beside. The reason I want to leave, or actually on the left, the reason I want to leave the arrow is that it seemed that AI has kind of it interprets arrows as passage of time. So it actually helps in specifying things for event source solutions, which are all temporal. As you can see, we're building things off of a timeline. So having this arrow here is actually, I think, important. I still have to test whether that is actually how these images of this particular thing end up being well understood by the chat window in Cursor AI. I had a stream last time that showed this. I did paste the previous version of this into the chat, and it generated really good Really good code. I was quite impressed. It was all the tests worked out of the box. The implementation was perfect. It even caught an assumption I was not ready to test for. It didn't think of. So the second request is this. Okay, so now for this last piece here, what we are doing is gonna make some more room again. And here I want to copy this. And I want to say that this is a request is idempotent. Is it idempotent? Is that the word? Should only generate one blank value. Okay, let's make this a little bigger. So that's kind of how we would write our user stories, but we're kind of making it graphical, and you know, you can really see how well it plugs into the workflow, right? That we could take this and, you know, expand a whole bunch of these, you know, requirements. We have this create button being clicked a bunch of times to test this. If we have this processor running every like 10 seconds, we could easily press this a couple of times and, you know, create a couple of requests and see that it's idempotent. Now maybe we'll do that as an exercise, actually, when we run the system. But for now, it's fine to do this. Interestingly enough, the reason we get this value, this conf ID, is because every time we run a conference, any of the subsequent steps here of topic suggestions, etc., they will have that conference ID included in it to obviously differentiate every time I run you run a conference through it. So that would be kind of cool. And then, yeah, we can throw AI at this, and having this history of what people suggested. You know, you run the same conference in a different area, you might actually have some cool suggestions, you know, that you can get from AI. I don't know. I don't think people really understand how much how different the world is with AI now. So, oops, that's not what we want. We want this. Yeah, so this is the last. Let's stop here, because really, do we need to have one where I accidentally have this play out, these two? You know, maybe I press the request ID once and then I press the request ID a second time by accident. And in between those requests, I do get a conference ID. Does it really matter that I have an unused conference ID? I don't think I need to specify that. I think the only problem is when these things get clicked fast enough so that the processor doesn't pick it up. And I'll show you where this is almost next to impossible if you make this whole sequence here synchronous. So one of the things about processors is that you don't have to have a cron job or something else kicking these off. We'll do that as one implementation, but you can, as soon as you update this, any code that updates this, after it's done that update, synchronously kicks off the processor. And you know, this is how you can also linearize all the execution, so you don't have like two processors looking at it at the same time, etc. When you're addressing scaling issues, you do that anyway. I mean, if you had multiple processors, you probably want to spread them, you know, across the, you know, a mod of the hash of the IDs or whatever, right? You would have a way to do it. So much different than how you would scale read side of things. So, but we're getting into CQRS topics now, which is not what we're after here at this point yet anyway. So of course, what happens here in terms of our specification, we copy this, we paste that, and there's a good chance that we actually want to have these as separate arrows. So, what we have here is really 1, 2, 3 core tests, but we have the idea that we want to test each one of these. And I think there's going to be some superfluous tests. So our initial kind of way of creating scenarios, of having a scenario for each one of these, we have ones here that are really not that interesting because, oh, hold on a second. Oh, we don't have this in the right place. Anyway, let me get back to path value. Yeah, so we have this up here. Duh. Okay, so we have that here. So maybe if we have, what am I getting at here? So this could be a test saying like, what does this thing look like when there's nothing yet? What's the default view? Okay, blank, no entries. Cool. That's fine. You can have a test to assert that that is true, and that'll give you a specification for, as a test for this default view. You can have one here that says, okay, when I have a request, that's what happens. And then when there's a response to providing that, we add that in here, and therefore we're happy because the processor works off of these things, and so it won't pick up any more IDs to generate, and it'll sleep again for another 2 seconds or whatever we have. Then we have the second request, which is really showing, again, I put this in the wrong space, so let's just move this up here. Oh, come on, align. Why are you not aligning? Okay. Align here. And here we have I think my voice might be a little bit loud, depending on how close I am to the microphone. So sorry if I've been screaming in your ear. Just turn it down. I think Yurdis was saying that I was too loud at first, or too quiet at first. Now I'm too loud, I think. Anyway, hopefully this is a good level. And okay, so second request. So we really, for the second request, we really just want to have this as the prerequisite, like the given, like the setup, and then this to be our assertion here. But our standard approach would be to, again, have a test for this where we have this as the setup. So the question is, does this really need 2 tests or 1? By default, I think I'd have all of them. But the question is a little bit more apparent here, because do we really want, we already tested this scenario at this point, because it's not different. It's yet another one. So do we really need to test this? And so there's definitely a case for also having this sparse way of looking at things, which would be getting rid of this. And that way we have a sparse array here where we don't have to repeat that previous scenario. And by having a sparse array, we don't generate an extra test here that we don't want to necessarily do because we have that scenario here. But we do want to show at this point that yes, at this point, having 2 requests gives me this. And after that, this thing here, I didn't finish this actually. So let's go here. At this point here, we have this result. So how many test cases do we have to make sure that this slice is implemented correctly? Well, we have the default view, 1, 2. What happens when this is put in the first time? That's fine. Second time, that's fine. Why are these not testing the same thing? Because they're ensuring that if you have a history of other conferences, that this still works to get you, the conference ID here, right? And so our rule may be that the last one in here is the one of that's the current conference, right? You could define something else where there's a current conference ID, and you don't have to keep this history in this projection. You already have a history in the events themselves. So if you want later on, there's a requirement to show, hey, show me a history of all the different IDs that you've generated. Fine, fill your boots, here's a report. That's the beautiful thing about event sourcing. We don't lose that history, right? Whereas the traditional thing would just have a update to, what is the current conference ID, and that would be the end of it. But here we kind of, keep a good history of what happened, and even though we might find an implementation where we just have a single value here that we update with the latest one, fine. We do that a lot. In my other implementation, I'm doing that for, last one wins, that's it. I still keep a history of everything, but like, what is the last event of this type? What is that value? Just clobber that into here, because you never know when you might need some of that history. And anyway, so so this test case is important to show that you're only going to generate that. It's up to you really if you want this one, because we're kind of testing that a couple of times here, because the last event here is this conf provided, and then obviously we fill in whatever the blank value is at the end here with this. So this is a question mark. I would probably leave it in because the history here is different, and so any kind of projection logic that we have here, I kind of want to have this. It doesn't really hurt to have this extra test to show that, even if we have this weird history here with these two duplicate requests, that we still have kind of what we expect. So I think this is good enough now to have, this implementation for this done. So what happens on the other side now? Because we have the great learning from this stream here is that you actually want to support a sparse array for generating your test cases. As we saw in the previous stream, we also do that here for the given when-thens for actually having what actually puts these events in, well, it's these commands. You can have a setup of different events here, and then given something, you're asserting that this happened. But notice that, that you could leave this blank. You don't want any tests generated from this early history. This early history is only there to set up the scenario. Then you're testing here, and then you're asserting that your result is this. So again, another sparse kind of array here to make sure that we have only the tests that we care about, and the rest is supporting them. So that's really good. And so I kind of like this convention here because we can also label these, and this is where we can kind of say, why we're testing for something here. It's nice that this kind of supports, a part of the workflow here that needs two tests to say that it works, which is kind of nice. And here again, you have two tests that show that it works. Here you have three tests to show that the overall path works, and that this easy sort of scenario that we have up here really also is satisfied. So I think that's good. Now second guessing the placement of the arrow here, because I think I want to do the same thing here. I want the events on the other side for specifying the next part, because it does read from left to right. Oh, do I? Interesting. Okay, there's a conundrum. There is a case, I guess, for this format to be a little bit different, although I do like the history being in one. There is a case for maybe if this would work better like this. But it doesn't really work for when you have multiple things. So nah, let's scratch that. That's not going to be good. is going on here? There, Control Z. Okay, back to normal. All right. So now the other thing, do we want the convention to be like this, where we have the events on the left, all of them, and the commands on the right? I kind of don't think so, because you now have to, if you did that, let's copy this and just explore. Let's explore this because it's important. Readability and communicating this stuff is important. Now, am I going to be able to drag this, or is it going to, yeah, it's going to be giving me crap. Like, why do you paste that here? Let's do this again. Just do paste here. It's weird that it has the original one selected after you paste. You can't move it. Who designed that? Okay, more usability problems with Draw.io. Okay, so again, the format is, given these things, when I try to do this, then I get this result. And we're doing this because we want to, specify this processor, and we need to show how this acts. So what we did to specify this, we need to now do for this, and do that down here. So, is this the best format for that? Well, I think we kind of saw that the arrow kind of would be better here, but it reads in a weird way because you have this to be set up. These events are needed to set the scenario up. You arrange in your arrange act assert, or your given and your given when then, or whatever your terminology is. When I try to do this, then I get this result. There's this opportunity maybe to move these here so that you have a given when then, and then you can move back here so it's given when then, given, and then you're skipping. Yeah, I kind of don't like the way it reads. Okay, back to it again. Keep second guessing myself on this thing, but I'm trying to find a format that's a little bit easier. And the other thing is that the then part is here, given that, is there a case for when we want to look at this scenario and maybe have it like this? So given this, all of these things, given all of this scenario that's set up by these events, when I do this, then this is the next thing that happens. I think that might be a better convention, because we'll have the same format as that one. So I think this is a good opportunity to make it standardized. And so what I did is, I have to have these are fictitious data examples in here, so don't read this because I was just showing the format. But now thinking about it more, I think I want to have this format where I have the given here, when, and then the next thing is the next thing in the row. So for example, this would be up here. So given all of this, when this is attempted, then I get this failure. And then here, I can say given all of this, and I can ignore the exceptions, right? So I think my test framework will ignore that. I mean, you could, even if you materialize your exceptions, this still will work, which I think is why I want that, because the reason this is red is actually doesn't affect the ledger. So things, you don't want to store failures for multiple reasons. I mean, that's an entire session. We could talk about that, why or why not you would store a failure as an event. But I think the convention here would support both. So what I think would make sense is that whether this last thing, this exception, is illustrated as just an exception that doesn't put down an event on disk, or is actually an event that does get put down on disk, starting to specify the next one that does work, which is given all of these time slots, when I try to add this extra one here, it is successful and I have this event. So I think this is good. I think this convention is good because it shares the format now with what we have for the other one. for the other side of the processor. So, and we can, obviously name these things so that every time you're setting up a test case, you can name it if you want. I think if you don't name it, I think it still understands that, you have the complete history as that. And I think the other thing that's important to mention is that if you wanted this to not share history with the previous ones, which happens sometimes, but this is again, we've talked about this on the podcast and other places. If you find that you're providing, let's give the example first. Okay. Let me shut up for a second and draw this so you can see what I'm talking about. So if we have one arrow here, and then I duplicate it, just paste it over here, and have this here, we've essentially said that we're doing a brand new history here. So in other words, we have two test cases for this set of history that's using the building up of this history here. Again, let me try and highlight that so it's more apparent. So this history is common between all the tests that we're running here. But the minute there's a break in the arrow is when we have this small history for only these two test cases. And I think this still works because we don't really need to have a previous history to demonstrate this, which is kind of cool. And I'm wondering if I could pre-prompt the AI in Cursor AI to actually recognize this convention. But I think what's happening here is we have a much nicer convention that I think will address a lot of things. And I think from this session, what's really good is that I can very easily copy this and adopt it for testing the other side, right? So if I want to start testing the actual thing that provides the IDs, then I can have, oh, volume is low again. Oh my goodness. Sorry guys, this volume thing is really annoying. Let me see. How's that? Should be better. I just don't want to, I see I'm redlining on OBS, so I just don't want to blow people's eardrums. All right. So does this make sense? We can ignore this for now. I really, maybe we should have another layer for, there's a case here. I wish you could nest these layers because I might want to like turn off some of these actors. Like for example, here, I think that here we have, not Bob, what do we call him? Eugene. Seems like a geeky enough name. Sorry, all the Eugenes out there. Eugene the sysadmin. I might want to hide this entire row because I don't want to see the technical dashboards that the sysadmins use to see what things are kind of clogged up or whatever. Okay, so let's take a look at what can happen in this. So again, what we learned from here, this is like our previous history. So let's say in here we have, we really don't have anything here in this history. We have a request. So given that it's requested, we now have this provision of this. And Control Z, paste here. Okay. So again, sorry, the stream's getting a little long here, but I really want to make sure that we have this. Now, none of the green things exist in this side of the equation, okay? We only deal with histories of events that can be interrogated for whatever the state is internal to our command handlers to see if the next command will happen or not. And in this case, we do have, yes, we do have the happy path here. so far, which is read as you would given this previous history. When I want to provide the actual value, then I paste it here, right? And again, this implementation of how this does it, it may be that we have a third-party library providing this, but from what we own, what information we are managing, we don't care. This is actually how we abstract all external interactions. We always want to have something somewhere else hiding this, the fact that we're doing some funky API calls or whatever, remote servers and other things that we get stuff from. We want to format that to the way that we work in our systems immediately, and then we can specify whatever we want that's in our control. But I'm glad people are listening. This is kind of interesting. And then we'll get into the code. I promise we're going to get into code, okay? Jeez. What do we have here? Let's see. Okay, so again, happy path here for what happens when we have that. And now we really want to show kind of the opposite side of this, where we have these two unique request IDs coming in. And oops, God. Okay, let's copy. Well, we can just copy the history. Okay, so this is another nice thing, is that it's very easy to copy the histories. I actually want to share, in this case, I want to share the history, so I'm going to continue the arrow downwards to paste that here. But I am going to take the opportunity of getting this extra space here to name name this, right? So in other words, given that I have this history, I can try to run, this kicks off providing this. So actually, sorry, given that we have this history, when I provide this, I store it as this. That's it. I don't want to have the second request, or do I? Maybe I do. So if I have another one of these requested, let's show what happens on the other side of the processor for the same history. Why not? Should be easy. Obviously, we're going to provide this. And remember, the processor is only looking for these things in this read model, right? So we can also show another exception condition where maybe we have run a second processor, and it does have so idempotency thing can be done from a different perspective of like, okay, I've by accident run two processors, and both of them picked up that there's something here, and we'll get two values added for generated values, and that is a case for having perhaps something not adding a value but updating it. So actually it should work, because we will get a failure on the second one. So let's illustrate what that is in terms of the history, the common history here. I'm just going to copy this ID to make sure the second one is done. Okay, and then I gotta go in about half an hour, so when I get into the code, before we do that, so let's finish these given when thens so that we can see what happens. And I think I said that, okay, so we have that. Second behaves the same way, so let's copy this label. And now let's talk about how the interesting way that this can fail, which is, or not fail, but be more resilient to failure. Processors can have failures, and how you show that, you might have a screen that shows some of these things. Maybe this also has a second collection for errors, and you might want to include that in here, so that you have something to display if something went wrong on, especially if it's non-technical reason. Like there might be a couple of organizers by mistake or something like this. I don't know. Can make better examples of that later. So a request that superfluous second command should not affect actually, let's just eat it, because I think we can just provide, you know, we have one other, we don't have this represented on this side, and that's two things provided without a request first. So, you know, we are actually exposing a possibility on this side. We're missing a test case here, which is easy to add. Which we can say that, okay, a processor ran again, and it provided, you know, another conference ID, because it caught this thing here. A second one was running, and it caught this as well, and said, okay, cool, yeah, I'll go get you one as well. Well, it doesn't know the other one's running, so it's just, okay, cool, I'll get you one, and it gets another one. These are UUIDs, so there's like, it's not a growing ID, so it's fine to do that. And you don't want to rely, I mean, that's a whole other topic, like why you want unique identifiers instead of growing IDs. There's a place for them. In this case, you really want the client to come up with the IDs. So what will happen here is that nothing will happen. And this is a really good specification because it impacts the implementation quite drastically, I think. So we copy this, we paste it here, and what do we call this? So given this history, when we have some other processor shove another conference ID provided, we ignore it, right? These are just provided. We're not setting it, right? So if we have a whole bunch of history here and we have another projection of that, we don't. We always look at this. These are the generated conference IDs. And we look at the last one as to what it is. And here, duplicate provision of an ID will be ignored. Okay, so that is kind of telling us what happens in these cases, because when we're specifying here, second request basic, okay, and here is what we have, is we have this particular one, which is also, so we can take this one and actually just move it. So we have that unique ID. It has Actually, that's not where you specify it. We did specify it correctly in the other one. So what we're actually doing is this. Given that this one already has provided this, so this test case here is given this when we provide an ID, then I'm doing this. I'm storing this as a success. And if my history is this, and I'm providing yet another one, which is the another ID, then I do still store it. Now the labeling is getting in the way here. I'm gonna have to rethink this about the labels, because this still has to read like this, but it's looking like it's jumping into here. So do I move them down? Right? What is the convention that will, because if I want this superfluous second one, I want this to be then and part of this. So I do need to have this here, but the superfluous command has to be here, and this has to be down here now. So now it has to read like, given this, when, then. I think if we're going to be labeling things, I think it has to be this way, unfortunately. So the convention is always given, when, then. So if we have something that has more, so yeah, so we have this. Given these, when this, then this. And for this one, it's given that our history is this, when I provide this extra one, it still stores it, that's fine. This makes it an easy thing. But we could very well, a superfluous second command can, see here we have the ability to ignore something that's not supposed to be there. But on this side as well, we could also just give it another chance to not have that stupid duplication, which would be, to make this red. Now there's my regular red. This color palette picker. Good. Do we even have that here? I guess this is nice bright and red. And we can say, we can make the system more resilient, I guess, on both sides, which is fine. I would like to have this as an exception. So I can say no request exists exception. So I think it's good to illustrate that. I don't want just happy case scenarios here. So I think that's fine. And you don't have to show exceptions on this side, because all these green boxes only go on off of what's on the ledger. So I guess given the chance to not put extra fluff onto the ledger, the better. Because really there is no test case you don't have a test case for the command side to show two commands running at the same time, because you're really looking at this from a functional perspective, and that'll never happen. You'll never have a specifications where you have a command saying, hey, do these two things. It's generally just a one thing at a time. I mean, it's the coordination above that creates these things. So I think this is a better representation here. So, okay, so now we have actually a really good set of specifications, and we can use, this one here to kind of implement one thing, and then another one here to implement another. And I'm really actually happy with this, because this shows that these two requests don't add another extra entry here. and then that this one, when it actually is provided here, does do that. And if you are running two processors by mistake and they happen to pick this up in that small little window of time where both can pick it up, that you're actually ignoring the second one here. And if you happen to, however, if you do have two processors and there is some overlap where it does catch the second one here, then you realize that you can also throw an exception to even make sure that there's a less likelihood of this happening. But nothing's 100%, and you have to have the best systems are ones that shield you from that, and also shield you from not blowing up for things that are not ideal in history. So those are the two specifications for both sides, and this is really how you would specify a processor if you're doing event modeling. It always is two slices. Most likely the people that are working on one of them will definitely work on the other, although with non-trivial ones you may want to pair up and work with, have two people doing these. These contracts are quite good for making sure that if someone is writing the command part, they're doing that, and we'll show here how that works in a second. So let's get to the implementation. We'll probably start and probably finish tomorrow. Again, our implementation is here on the design, and then we actually have, if I do go back to the previous one, I should save this design, right? So let's go back. Get status. Why is that JSON lock in here? Good God, I don't want it in here. It's not needed. LS. What kind of stuff do we have here? Yeah, we don't need that. Why is that in here? Oh, okay. I know what I did. I ran some npm stuff thinking I was in the other directory, and so it did this thing. Let's remove. Okay, so git add everything, git commit. I gotta change that abbreviation. Here we want to say that added specs for processor, updated the git history example, fixed. Oh, did we just add stuff on progress? Oh, God damn it. I'm pretty sure I did do that. Yeah, all that's in the wrong thing. Okay, so that's okay. It's easy to fix. Okay, let's try this and see exactly what we've created on progress. Way too many things. Okay, well that's good. Those things up there should be on progress, but the rest should not. So if I do that, obviously we can see this is not belonging here. Exit that, or X that, and then paste that. Okay, that showed that, so that's good. That's brought over here. And then we hide this and do that, so we definitely don't need this guy. Control X, and go back here, paste, and hide the progress, show the progress. Good. So now, yeah, progress is just doing those things, which it should. Is there anything else that I did here? Let's zoom out the whole thing. Nothing else out of the ordinary, showing and hiding. Okay, good. Good. Okay, so now we actually have this working correctly with the progress showing and hiding. And we can look at this. So fixed specs. I just went full screen, didn't I? That's fine. I can live in this. I can live in this ID. Get status modified. Oh, it didn't save it. Okay, see the little dot here means I did not save it. It's supposed to save on exit. Why is it not doing that? Ugh, annoying. Auto save features. So file, It is on autosave. What's going on? Why did not save this? Control S. What? What is going on? Why is this not saving? Now I made that stupid thing. Delete. Control. Okay, it saved it now, but it made this arrow. Why is it making this arrow? Delete. Oh, I clicked on it. I see. Control S. Okay, it's saved. So now git add. So I gotta figure out why it's not doing it. Every time I left any window to go to the terminal, it used to autosave. Now it's not. Anyway, there's always a little few. Cursor AI is really stable, really awesome, like amazing. But there are a few annoyances. For example, I can't go Alt left and right in Fish Shell to go through my history of directories. It's much easier than other ways of doing that in other shells, but it's grabbed. I'm not sure if it's a cursor thing or if it's a code VS Code thing where you don't allow the Alt left and right to go through. And I guess I'm at the point where I'm going to have to remap those fish bindings to be some other keys. Okay, let's just see. So git add, git status. Yep. So git commit. That's another one I gotta fix. I don't want that V in there. So added 2 slices for processor, and then added fixed graph on branching. And what else do we do? Fixed layers. Fixed objects and run layers. Okay, I think that's it. I can push that, and I can go back to the other one, which is our QA branch. I want to get checkout. Now, if I check things out and I actually had this graph, this event model in my regular branches, it would change on me. That's not what I want. When I'm changing branches to do different things here, I want to switch. I want this graph not to change. I want to keep referencing this for how I work and what's going on. Yeah, and especially if others are working on the things beside me, I want to see how those are progressing, or if anyone's found any issues, if they're integrated my work. They might make notes here, so I want to have that as a separate thing. But I want it part of the same history. I want both. So now we want to check out a brand new branch. So let's just see git branch. Does it show? Git branch. So we have these. Okay. So we have design. We have this QA, but then we have 2 things that we have as features. So we have rooms-sv. Now, I'm wondering, should I use a better convention for branch names? Probably. I probably want slice-sv- and then whatever it's called. Or I should just have a prefix for that. So let's just start using that. So git log 1 line decorate, and I don't want to show all of the branches because I have a whole bunch from the previous workshops that we did in Europe. I have all of this stuff as branch per feature something. So I'm kicking myself for not. I should just rename these, just not now. I'll clean it up another time. And I want to use a prefix for things. So if I'm doing an effort, I want BPF. So we're showing branch per feature here, and I want /slice, so we can see all the slices which are features, and then slash. Well, actually, I don't want. Do I want state view as a part of that path for a branch name? I don't know. We'll figure it out. So here is the history. Oops. Here's the history of everything. So okay. So our initial commit is BPF. That should actually be a start tag. Do I actually have a tag on there? 1 line, blah, 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 all of this. Can I display tags too? I don't have a tag. I usually have a start tag for things like this. So git tag, and I forget the syntax. God damn it. Okay. Well, git tag the BPF commit with start. And we usually have one because we just keep creating ones for each iteration or development. I hate using the word iteration because it implies agile stuff. So let's see what that is. Okay, so really, why is that? Can't I use the name? Can't I just have BPF here? Yes, there's a start tag. Right. So the reason I like start tags is they don't get pushed around as branches do. So every time I want to start something, I can do git branch or git checkout. I think it's what's my acronym here? Git checkout, isn't it? Yeah, git checkout. Okay. And here I want to check out BPF because we're doing branch per feature, but now I want slice. And then I want, I could actually just add additional branches right now to make this convention stick. But anyway, slice, and we're going to have state view as the first one, and then we're going to call it conf ID to do. Actually, I want to-dos to jump out at us. So I'm going to have a to-do at the beginning, and then conf ID. And I want gen conf ID. Gen conf ID. Okay. And I want that to be from the start tag. Git checkout, and then of course I need checkout, and I want this as the new name of the branch, so -b, and then that is where it's going to point to. Did we accomplish? Really? Refs heads BPF exists, cannot create debug with AI. Why is that causing an issue? I thought you could use forward slashes. Oh, because we have a BPF branch. Ah, crap. I guess, yeah, I want to get rid of that branch because I have a start tag. So BPF is really something that's going to be a convention for the names. Okay, I forgot that you can't have, which is interesting. So you can't have a branch for BPF. You can't have a branch for BPF slice or SV. I didn't know that, or did I? I just forgot. I don't know. Okay, this is awesome because I get to keep a lot of this stuff locally as a commit. So I can create these slices using the example code from how I did things before, which is really good. So I'm happy that this stuff came with me. All right, let's get on with that then. So we have these changes to be committed, and then I think we need to have them as restored. So I don't want anything committed that's in here. I'll just double check that we're on the right one. Git log blah blah blah, and let's just add. I shouldn't have to add anything. It should show me that I'm pointing at that. Oh really? Did it not work? What branch am I on? Oh, BPF QA. Oh, because we didn't delete that yet. Okay, so what the hell do I have in here? BPF QA. Why do I have all this stuff in QA? I am here in QA. Merge branch, blah, blah, blah. Yes. Am I in the middle of a merge? I think I was. Does this stuff work? Node. Oh yeah, I need NVM. NVM. Node. Nope. What the deuce? Oh, did I delete the untracked files? Deleted. Package lock. Oh. Am I in the middle of a merge? Your branch is up to date. Why is all this crap in here? Okay, I'm gonna stash all this. NVM, use latest. Node, app tests, npm install. Okay, so it works. That was just an environment thing. So all our tests are running. I think I was showing Joshua Karyevsky how this stuff works, and I just started to mess around with too many things, but I think it works, and I think running the app will also work. Nope, got an issue here. Unhandled. Interesting. Interesting. So yeah, we don't have a QA environment that works, but I think if I do a git checkout, and I want to do like rooms SV, node install, I think this runs. Node app. No, what the hell? Oh, I'm running it. Duh. I'm running it somewhere else. Fish terminal. Well, where's my other stuff? Why am I running it? Where am I running it? Port 30. Already in use. Ah, so stuff was working. Where the hell is it running? Huh. Should I just kill it? Oh my god. Really? Okay, no, I can't do that because that's like way too many things. That's interesting. Settings. Can I exit this? Is it just a? I think it's just a. Why didn't it kill the thing when? Yeah, I think if a process stuck somewhere. I have to run nvm, use latest, and then node. It's still gonna cause. Yeah, what the? Where is it running? Maybe I ran it on here. No, it's not running here. Did I actually go from another instance into that? Oh, I think I am running something else. Main.js, adaptive sites, static sites, podcasts, index. I'm not running it here. Podcast is not, that's a Hugo site. Machine setup doesn't run anything. This one run anything? I don't think so. Okay, mystery to me. I guess for now I'm just gonna add a parameter for running it on a different port. Ugh. Should just reset the machine, but nah, not gonna. All right, let's get back to it then. I do want to double check that everything runs. Where's my port? Port. Run the server, tests. No, where's the stupid port? Grown. Is that the bottom? Where did I put the stupid running stuff? Yes, here it is. Listen, 301. Not running on 3000. Ah, so gross. Yeah, I feel gross doing this. Do we have the rest of our crap set up here? Test false, blah, blah, blah. Let port. Yeah, that's fine. Are you gonna tab me down? Or, yeah, it's too far away for the context window. It won't do it here. But now that I'm here, it'll do it. There we go. Much better. Okay. Good. 3001. I want a link to this thing in my thing. So we want. Thank you. I don't want the rooms message. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm going down a rabbit hole. I kind of want links for all the pages now in here when I run it. That'll be kind of fun. Gosh. Port plus to see the rooms. Page. Okay. Down the damn rabbit hole we go. URLs, escape.push. And I want, yes, time slots. And I want that used in both places. So rooms URL equals. But I also want URLs escape.push. Easy. Okay, almost done with this time slots URL. All right, so that should do it, and then we can have a const URLs. Let URLs is that. That's perfect. Okay, so now if every time we have another thing for like rooms, we can do that. And then, okay, so we have that for rooms, time slots, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, what we do get is, okay, is running on blah, blah, blah. And so let's just make this a special thing here. Okay. Port. That. And then we want URLs dot to for each. And we want Don't want that. Okay, that's good. And then do we have the slash in there? I think we do. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, that was fun. I actually want to copy that for other stuff, but that's good. Let's do node app. Oh, look at that. Much better. I just click here for all the URLs that I have. Very, very cool. So if I have time rooms is what I want to see. So control click. Oh, no such file directory. 2001. That's not good. Handle, blah, blah, blah. Dot event stream standard. Oh, I don't have any of my event streams in here. Oh, did I delete it? Yeah, I had. Okay, so what I had for this to actually run was not just node modules, but there was a refresh. It should create, which it doesn't for now. Get events, blah, 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 read. So this thing here, as I'm setting it up, it needs to, yeah, I need to have another thing, which is let event store equal dot event stream. And then here, give me the suggestion. Yes. Good. Good, good, good. So that's good that we have that here. But we also need to create. Good. I think that's it. So I think now we should be. Nope. Connect SFS before. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's before all the requires. I don't want that thing. I will just move this down to here. That should be good enough. And what is the problem now? Oh, I did some bad things here. I didn't. This guy. Oh yeah, run the server, run tests. Oh, I dragged in the whole damn thing. Stupid. Okay. Now we'll just move this down here. That'll do it. Yeah, should be good. Unrecognized parameters. What is the friggin' problem? Include test, run the test. Bad parameters, yes. Else if includes tests, run the tests, test true, blah, 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 run the server. Okay, let's control Z out of this before we created that. I see. Okay, I think this is the problem. Let's move this now. Yes, there it is. Okay, so now if we go to control rooms, yeah, it's actually working. So now, where do we have rooms? This it? 3000. No, not going to the right one. 30,001. Where did it pop up? This it? No. Which Chrome window is it? This guy? 300? Nope. So why is this not? Follow is control click. Control clicking. Where did you go? Oh, that one doesn't work. The time slots doesn't work. That's fine. Okay. Does the tests work? All right, good enough. Let's get on to the main implementation now. We've futzed around with this too much. I kind of like this idea though of these little things you can test and just drop in anywhere. So I think in the next couple of days, what we're going to do is work on making sure that we have this fun stuff here. So git status. I'm going to add everything here. Git commit to let's see, added URLs. Good click. And what else do we do? Checked that event store there. Okay, good push. And now we can do checkout of, so git checkout. And we want to call this, oh, we wanted to get rid of that stupid branch. So git branch delete, and we want BPF gone. Okay, and now we can do our git checkout, but we want, so that's actually pretty cool. In the fish shell, you just hit up arrow once you typed a part of a command, and it'll find everything in history. There's no need to press Control R or anything like that. Just up arrow with something typed in will do a match for you. So this is what we want. We want BPF. This is the line that we're working in here, the set of branches. It's a slice, it's a state view, and to do gen conf ID, and they do it from start one. Thank you. My God, that took forever. Git status. What do we got? We've got node modules, which is kind of needed. I kind of want to bring back the state of affairs from the last one. So we want to get, so git checkout, the other format of it is rooms, but we want to get all of the files from there, right? So, but how do we do that? Nothing to commit. Untracked files, nothing added to commit. Did it work? Yes, we have all these new files. Okay. So we should still be able to run this in our new, now just double check that we're in the right spot. Git log one line blah blah blah, and at the beginning we should have, yes, head is this branch and it's at start tag, so we don't have anything else. So that's why we checked everything out from the rooms SV, so we get all the infrastructure from there, and basically we can gut everything from here right now. But I don't want to gut it yet because I actually want the example code to be there, so if I implement something new, I want that to be shown from the other code. So we steal a lot from each other in terms of slices, which is good because it's predictable. So let's get rid of that history from chat. We have all of this. The app should run, but now we need Oh, that's another thing I want to show you is that, where is our event? So let's rewind a bit. Let's make some room. So here's a perfectly reasonable way to get going with your to-do lists if you don't have a screen, because we don't have a screen. So how do we do an app.js thing when we're doing a processor behind the scenes? Well, this is a little clue. This little screen here kind of gives you the view for this. So this is why I like to add the sysadmin to the roles, because now it gives me the same set of kind of requirements in the way of working as I would do for any other feature, except I'm instrumenting things for a processor to look at, but I have a window into what it's looking at, and that gives me a really good, easy way to kind of see things, right? Instead of having to always drop to the debugger or something like that, I can actually see this now. So if we go back to app.js, what we can do here is add this as a, okay, so we have room states and all that kind of stuff. And then we have this test collection for, so we kind of bundle things together. So room state view is all here, including its tests. And then the actual running of the, showing the rooms. And then here we have time slots, same thing. So, and of course, I think I should have that up there. This assert condition should be up in the infrastructure code, but whatever, it's here for now. Well, I'll clean it up later. So what I'm saying is that the time slots area is here. So we have all the tests for the time slots, etc., and then we can run the tests. So the same thing happens here. This is infrastructure at the bottom that just runs the tests. I tried to find a way to put it at the top with the rest of the junk, but whatever. It's easier if it's down here because you need to have things in some order. Let's see. So now we need, so this gives us an opportunity to have a UI for this. So we can do const, and then we can do something that is called to do gen conf IDs equals, and then here we have, oh, URL. Yeah, that's what we want. Perfect. So excellent, render conf IDs, and we have this, which is really good. And what port are we running on? Did we commit that 3001 or whatever, 30,001? Yeah, 30,001. Whatever, maybe I'll change it to 3001. What is that? There's an error here? What is this error? Oh no, that's just my removed lines. That's just my change. Okay, fine, whatever. Okay, so we have this, which is great. We have the URL. We have this guy. Let's just see if it just works, right? So we can open this up, and now we can just refuse to run. Okay, node. Okay, really? Why is this in use? What the hell is using it? Anyway, I gotta reboot this machine at some point. It's been running for like weeks, and I've done so much on it. So let's run it on 3002. 3002 it is. Please run. Yes, there it is. It's running. So now if we do this, control this. Can you please go? Oh. Oh, it doesn't have views. Okay, good. So that's a good Okay, if I break this, it's gonna have a zombie process or something. What is going on? Nope, it's good. Okay. Yeah, we don't have a view. So obviously, views, rooms, mustache. Okay. I guess we can just ask AI to do this. So app.js, I don't want that. I want with code base. Add a view for the to-do list for conf IDs and do that with the code base. Oh, yeah, programming is so much easier these days. That looks good. Apply. Accept. Did I get it? Oh, sweet. It's dangling on some launcher thing, but it's not launching. Oh, now it launched. Okay, so where is it? Where are you? Conf IDs to generate. Oh, where's that? Oh, I see you guys on another screen. Stupid monitor screen's got it. Okay, I got a new OLED monitor, which is freaking amazing to look at. But when I I guess when I unplugged all the peripherals to get this plugged in, it has a different ID, and Linux does a really good job of remembering what's plugged in, so it'll like restore your monitor layout. If you plug your laptop back into a certain set of monitors, it'll just work, which is awesome. So look at that, number of IDs needed, request IDs. That is not what we want, number of IDs needed. No, I mean, it's good. It gave me a view, which is cool. Again, the menu is really not needed there. So I'm just gonna gut this because I don't need all this crap. I just need to show kind of what is there. So I don't need this nav thing. That's going away. IDs, I don't need generated IDs, value list, conf IDs. I don't need a button to create them. That is not what this is for. So input group, no thank you, don't need that. This is what we have, is really these conf IDs, which is cool. And yeah, so if I save this, Control C, rerun it, and look at this thing again, I get something that is good. I don't need the double IDs thing either. So generate IDs, can get rid of that. I wonder if that actually works through. No, I have to rerun the app. Look at all that. So I had all the stuff here, but oh, I see what happened. Stupid restream thing. Now I don't have my chat. I destroyed my chat. Manuel's looking for something for stuff to pull from. So, okay. I don't like how this, okay, if I click on this again, will it actually go to the right one? Or is it gonna destroy my chat window? No, it seems to be going to the right window. Okay, good. Goody. All right, done. And why is that ID in here still? Go away, go away. Go away, go away, go away, go away. That's the room setup we were trying to show. It actually did pop up, just couldn't find the window. Okay, so do that. Okay, why is that still showing this ID section? Conference IDs to generate. Da, 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 da. Generate IDs. Oh, I see. It's a stupid name here. Okay, does that get rid of it? IDs. Does this look decent now? It's not generated IDs. I guess it is. Okay, whatever. Okay, so that's done. Now let's do those tests. We have a new way of doing things a little bit. So I wonder if I'm tempted to just paste that in and see if this gets it. I'd be so impressed if it did. I don't want to do app JS. Yeah, okay. Add tests for this to-do list. Let's see what happens. Note that the array is sparse on use two arrays, one for history, one for I don't think it'll get it. One for state views. State views is sparse. You can have two timelines for a slice. Yeah, that's very optimistic. I mean, but I was quite impressed with what it did last time. So now that means we go into here and let's move some of these out of the way. Let's remove some of these for a minute. Use the layers control down here. Oh my goodness. Okay. First of all, it has to be legible. Now the other thing is we don't actually have to work with, I hate this. Maybe full screen. Is that gonna give me everything? Oh my gosh, right. Zoom out a bit. Okay, I'm gonna function I, give me this as a screenshot. Copy that. Let's see what happens. I can always re-edit this. Add tests for this to-do list. Use two arrays, one for history, blah, blah, blah. So it has an example of what we did before, but it doesn't have the sparse history, right? The unique ID request on the second timeline doesn't have that view. I don't want the test case for that. So I can paste that. Don't do a test for where there is nothing in the sparse array. That is extremely optimistic. That's doing it. Let's see what it's getting right. Well, it is getting the events correctly. Okay, so it does have a null eventual state. It is putting the whole sample history together. Okay, so it's just wrong. Okay. Okay. So I need to give it some more instructions. Where the arrow breaks is where a new history is needed. So I asked way too much of it this time. Sample history has got 4. And it's got that, so happy. Okay, so it did add it as different sets of test collections, which is almost what I want. I want these to actually be grouped inside, and I want 2 histories in these. So I don't want this to be a slice name. The slice name is conference ID generation to-do list, and then I want these things to be subsections. But anyway, so yeah, I guess we'll continue on with this tomorrow. So 2 slices, we're starting the implementation. I guess I'll push up whatever this code is. I actually don't want to apply it yet, or do I? No, I don't want to apply it yet. I don't want to apply it. I will do this again tomorrow, but the kind of URL is there, and you can add your test cases and all that yourself. I know Manuel's eager to try this, so I'm going to push this up. I'm sure he's going to do a Ruby implementation of it like last time. And yeah, so again, sorry for being away from live streams for a while. I'm back, and we'll do more. So we got the mustache view. We have all of these things. I kind of I will clobber this commit because I don't want the rest of this stuff in here. I pulled it in so that we would have example code of how we implemented the slices from before, but I will gut this and amend this latest commit that I'm going to add right now. So what do we have here? Modified. I can just add everything, git add everything, -a. Status, what do we have? We have all of this, git ignore, blah, blah, blah. Okay, git commit. Initial step for processor. The nice thing is once we have this one, every single processor from now on will be incredibly fast to do. We'll just be copying this and changing stuff. So, yeah, this is more instructional stuff. So we talked about a lot of topics, and we'll have yeah, we'll continue to do that. So yeah, let's get all that up there. Actually, no. We need you. That stupid thing. I think I have to remove the remote BPF. I think that's what's causing the issue. Remember that BPF branch name was an issue? So let's do remove branch BPF on remote. I know how to do it. I just want to see if this gets it. Believe me, I know how to do it. I know git. Yeah, push nothing to that on that, which is really good. But there's also like a delete syntax. So use a delete parameter. That's a newer way of doing things. Yeah, see, that's the proper way to do it. But that's the original way in Git. That with the previous way that it showed, that's the way you would do it. So anyway. And now we can actually push this with tracking. Dash U tracks. There we go. So now, hey, Manuel, it's there for you. Have fun. Tomorrow, yeah, we'll compilation from these recordings to have a short video on how to do this. So anyway, thanks for sticking around. I gotta go run, take advantage of the nice weather while it lasts here in Vancouver and go for a walk. So